When Creed 3 first came out, all anyone could talk about was that Rocky Balboa was not in the film. Everyone and their mother had this shit-ass take that they missed Rocky and that the movie somehow needed him. But the fact is that Creed has grown past Rocky. In fact, Rocky Balboa's story comes to such a satisfying conclusion in Creed 2 that it would actually be kinda weird if he ever comes back. Let's go back to Rocky 4, a Cold War movie where boxer Apollo Creed gives into American sensationalism and dies in a grand flamboyant match with Victor Drago, a Russian poster boy. Rocky could have thrown in the towel and stopped the fight, but he didn't because Apollo told him not to. So out of guilt, Rocky avenges Apollo by avoiding all the American glamour and fighting for himself rather than fame. Rocky won in a match against Ivan Drago, and the Russian was shamed into occlusion. A couple of movies later, we get Creed 2, where our protagonist Adonis Creed, son of Apollo Creed, with the help of Rocky, fights off in a rematch against Victor Drago, the son of Ivan Drago, after he initially lost. Now, this fight is what satisfyingly ends Rocky's character arc. For one, the parallels between this fight and one of Rocky's last real fights, the one with Ivan, make this fight the perfect grounds to end Rocky's story, and we see the movie do just that. For example, when Victor starts losing the fight, the Russian beneficiaries that left his father after he lost, left him as well. As soon as Victor sees this, he loses all motivation to keep fighting and just gets pummeled by Creed. This contrast between Creed's newfound internalistic motivation versus Drago's externalistic, shallow motivation highlights one of the Rocky franchise's most integral themes. See, this fight comes after Adonis goes through a long period of growth. Unlike Apollo Creed, who was in it for the fame, Rocky taught Adonis Creed that boxing is really about personal growth. It's about proving to oneself that you can do it, that you can go that extra mile, even if you don't win. It's not about revenge for Apollo, it's about integrity. It's about who wants it more. A lot of people like to say that Rocky passed on his legacy to Adonis, but it's much better to think of it as Rocky showing Adonis how to truly pave his own path. On top of this, Adonis has beaten someone who is motivated externally, just as he used to be. In a way, Adonis is fighting against his old self. And by extension, Rocky is showing the world, one last time, what it means to be a fighter. In fact, going back to Rocky 4 real quick, this theme was used to actually create a witty commentary on Cold War America. Like a lot of art from this era, while on the surface Rocky 4 seems to put America on a pedestal, this movie is actually a snide commentary on the over-sensationalism and dumbing down of American ideals. That's why Apollo dies in such a flamboyant manner, not only to emphasize how important internal motivation is, but also to insult what America has become, a commercialized, materialistic shell of itself. Rocky 4 shows us that true American spirit lies within rising above that bombastic pettiness. So, Rocky has passed on his knowledge onto someone, honoring the greatness of what his trainer Mickey did for him. It's already a great ending beat for Rocky, but it gets even better. The fight ends with Ivan Drago throwing in the towel, essentially waving a white flag and forfeiting. This shows personal growth for Ivan, who back then couldn't give less of a shit if Apollo died, but now genuinely cares about someone, his son. This is shown even further when we see Ivan comforting Victor. Ivan once felt this way as well, and has finally, after his son lost, after his wife left once again, grown past it. Now, he doesn't want his son to go through the same hateful path that he did. This ties once again back to Rocky 4, where Rocky wins over the hearts of the Russian people and teaches them that everyone can change for the better. Ivan and Victor are present-day examples of these people growing and changing. It may seem that I am digging too deep into this, and it's probably because I am, but there's a small piece of dialogue that almost confirms that Rocky's story was meant to end with this movie. After Adonis wins, he and Rocky share a heartfelt moment where Rocky tells Adonis,
"It's your time."
We then cut to this nice wide shot, where Rocky's put under a whiter light than everyone else, making him appear older and frailer. Rocky is tired, and he is ready to move on. He even visits his son for the first time in decades, finally meeting his grandson for the first time. Finally, after decades of strife, all is right. This movie seems tailored to close Rocky's book. So digging Rocky back out of his grave would only diminish his character development and take away from Adonis's journey as a fighter, not to mention be downright disrespectful. Rocky the individual is dead and buried, but that doesn't mean Rocky the idea is. Even without him, Creed 3 honors the lessons and themes that Rocky has taught us over his career. Instead of mourning Rocky, let's celebrate Adonis as his own person, one that has learned all that the big man has to teach, and will continue to show us all what true courage is. They say you should let go of what you love, and I would love to have Rocky come back for another movie, but should he?